Good morning everyone. My name is Neha Chauhan. I am nursing tutor of Index Nursing College. Today's my topic is motivation. Introduction of motivation. According to Abraham Lincoln, until past 40 was a failure in almost all activities he undertook. When asked about the changes, he said, "My father taught me to work but did not teach me to love my work. I hit that accidentally when I was past 40. These loves or will to be do called motivation depending on the strength of people's motives. Motives are the expressed need and could be conscious or subconscious that are always directed toward goal, motivating people to perform better and thus to achieve organizational objectives has been the greater challenge to managers. Why do some people perform better than others? Why does the same person act differently at different time? These and many other questions related to work performance has been confronting managers continuously, motivating people to perform higher than their normal physical and mental capacities and to keep them satisfied is a very complex function of management. Definition of motivation. Motivation is the act of stimulating someone or oneself to get a desired course of action, to push the right button to get a desired reaction. Other motivation is a predisposition to act in a specific goal directed way. Type of motivation: innate or unlearned motivation, acquired or learned. Motivation can also be classified as physiological or primary motivation, social or secondary motivation, personal motivation or unconscious motivation. Concept of motivation. Today, virtually all people and scholars have their own concept of motivation, and they include various terms like motives, need, want, drives, wishes, incentives, etc. It defining motivation, there are three terms to understand the concept of motivating and motivation and their relationship. Motive. A motive is the inner state that immerses activities or moves, hence motivation, and that direct the behavior toward goal. A motive is restlessness, a lack, a force will pull immerse the organize and to do something to reduce restlessness, to remedy the lack, to mitigate the force. Motives are interferes for behavior. They may be conscious or unconscious. Motive also help in making predictions about behavior. Motivating is a term which implies that one person in a social context and another to engage in action toward goal by assuring that a channel to satisfy the motive become available and accessible to the individual. For example, in school, college, a teacher stimulate and channelize the student nurses to reach toward goal. In addition to channelizing the strong in direction that is satisfying to both the school, college and the student nurse, the teacher can also active the latent motives in student and harness them in a manner that would be beneficial for a organization and student. Motivation. While a motivation is emergence of action. Motivation is the channelization and activation of motives. Motives is the action behavior itself. Motivation depend on motives, and motivating therefore becomes a complex process. Refer motivation to the way in which urge, drive, desire, aspiration, striving, or need direct control or explain the behavior of human beings. Motivation involves a chain reaction starting out with felt need resulting in want or goal sought, which gives rise to tension that causing action toward satisfying want. However, is in reality this channel is more complex than it looks. Motivation is drive and effort to satisfy a want or goal. Satisfaction refer to the contaminated experienced when a want is satisfied. Therefore, a motivation result is satisfaction. Nature of motivation based on motive, affect by motivating, goal directing behavior related to satisfaction, personal in motivated in totality, complex process. Theories of motivation: intrinsic theory, drive theory, arousal theory, incentive theory, Maslow hierarchy of needs. In Intrinsic theory of motivation. According to this theory of motivation, all organisms are born with innate biological tendency that help then serve the theory suggests that intrinsic drive all behavior. So what exactly in intrinsic? Intrinsic are goal directed and innate pattern of behavior that are not the result of learning or experience. For example, infant has have an inborn rooting reflex that help them seek out a nipple and obtain nourishment, while bird has an innate needed to migrate before winter. Both of these behavior occur naturally and automatically. They do not need to be learned in order to be displayed. Psychologist William MC was one of the first to write about the intrinsic theory of motivation. We suggest that intrinsic behavior have has was composed of three essential elements: perception, behavior, emotion. He also outlined 18 different intrinsic that include curiosity, material, laughter, comfort, sex, and food seeking. Psychiatrist Sigmund Freud used a broad view of motivation and suggests that human behavior was driven by two key forces: the life and death intrinsic. Psychologist William James, on other hand, identify a number of intrinsic that we believe were essential or survival. These include such things as fear, anger, love, shame, and cleanness. Observe on intrinsic theory. Drive theory: need, drive, arousal, goal directed behavior, achievement, reduction of arousal. Drive theory: according to the drive theory of motivation, on drive theory, people behave a certain way to reduce the internal tension created in the body as a result of unfulfilled biological need. The arousal or the state of inner tension that develop within the body due to these need is known as drive. The drive reduction theory believes that primary motivation behind all human action is the reduction of drive. The drive theory of motivation has been given by behaviorist Clark Hull and further expounded upon the Hull's collaborator space. When Hull first started working on the drive reduction theory of motivation, he was inspired by the idea of many prominent thinkers such as Ewart L. John B. Charles This basic of all drives reduction theory is homeostasis, a phenomena that help organism maintain a balance or a stable internal state under challenging condition to ensure its survival. For example, at extremely no hot temperature, a person starts sweating. Why? Which is the human body natural reaction to cool itself down, reduce discomfort, and return to the state of equilibrium. The Clerk-Hull drive reduction theory work on the same principle. As soon as there are an unmet need within the body, a person start behaving in a manner that allows them to address these needs, reduce the drive, and achieve a state of balance. As a new behaviorist full explained, human behavior is a term of conditioning and reinforcement. In term of the drive reduction theory, the reduction of the drive function and as a reinforcement of the behavior that helped the person to satisfy their unfulfilled need. Such reinforcement increases the likelihood of the person behaving in the same manner in the further future to address the particular drive. The drive theory therefore work on the same stimulus response relationship that is premise of the condition for form of learning. Arousal theory. This is arousal theory. According to the arousal theory of motivation, each person has a unique arousal level that is right for them. When our arousal level fall outside of these personality optimum levels, we seek some sort of activity to get them back within our desired range. Example of arousal theory including if our arousal level drop to down low, we might seek stimulus by going out to a nightclub with friends. If our arousal level become too elevated and we become overstimulated, we might to motivated to select a relaxing activity such as going for a walk or taking a nap. Arousal can be mental, cognitive, emotional, affective, or physical. Incentive theory. Incentive theory and an incentive theory of motivation is either a promise or an act that is provided for the greater action in business. An incentive may be an additional benefit or remuneration or job promotion give to an employee neither to recognize his achievement or encourage him to perform better. Additional remuneration or benefits motives an employee to accomplish greater thinking. On the other hand, no monetary incentives such as job promotion, job security, pride of accomplishment, and job satisfaction are also employee motivators. According to this theory, positive incentive and negative incentive. Positive incentive means that gives a positive or for satisfaction and individual needs and want are called positive incentives. These incentives involves the principle of optimism and are provided to fulfill the employee's psychological requirement. For instead supervision a new employee for a job well done. Other positive incentive include recognize job promotion, additional allowance and trophy and medals. Negative incentive as opposed to positive incentive. Negative incentive are provided in order to reactively and individual mistake and error for the sake of achieving satisfying result. More often than not, negative incentive are given if the positive incentive to do work conditioning a person to act to avoid such negative incentive. These including job demotion, penalties, and fines. Unlike the drive reduction theory, the incentive theory states that stimulus attack a person toward it. An individual will more likely behave in order to get himself closer to the incentive. The theory is grounded on the principle of condition and incentive to make a person happier. For example, a student who studied hard during his college year is happy to receive a medal on his graduation day. Maslow hierarchy needs. Maslow pyramid. Psychological needs, safety needs, belongingness and love needs, esteem needs, self-actualization. Abraham Maslow's motivation theory is based on the human need. These needs are classified into hierarchy of for the lower to higher order as five needs. Psychological need. These needs are the lowest order and most basic needs of human beings. This involves satisfying fundamental biological drives such as the needs for food, air, water, cloth, and shelter, generally expressed in the name of roti, kapda, or makan. These needs expert influence on human behavior. Also, being a human being has to meet his psychological need for survive. Hence, he or she is motivating to work in enterprise to have economic reward to meet his her basic needs. Second, satisfy and security need. The second level of need in Maslow hierarchy is immersed once psychological need are met. Satisfy need involves the need of environment free from threats of physical and psychological harms. These needs find expression in such desire as economic security and protection from physical danger. Meet these needs requires more money and hence the inter is promoted to work more in his her like physical needs. These becomes inactive once they also satisfy. Third need is social needs. Man is social animal. These needs therefore refer to belongingness or affiliation. All individuals want to be recognized and accepted by others. Likewise, an motivated to interact with fellow interpretation, his employee and other. Esteem need. These needs refer to self-esteem and self-respect. These include such needs that indicate self-confidence, achievement, competence, knowledge, and independence. In case the ownership and self-control over enterprise satisfy their esteem need by providing them status, respect, reputation, and independence. Self actualization, the final need, the final step under the need hierarchy model in the need of self actualization. This refers to self fulfillment. The term self actualization was coined by means to be become actualized in what one in potential good and may achieve self actualization is being a successful enterprise. In Maslow above need hierarchy theory, human needs are arranged in lowest to highest order. The second needs does not dominate unless the first is reasonable satisfy, and third need does not dominantly until the first two needs have been reasonable satisfy. The process goes on till the last needs. This is because man is never satisfied. If one need is satisfied, another need arise. Once a need is satisfied, if increases to be motivating factor for it is mainly social esteem and self actualization need which motivate them to work more and more for satisfying them. Thank you.